Well, hello again. Welcome to Art with Mad Mel. I am the madman himself. Oh, there we go. I bumped the camera earlier, right? I hope everybody's doing well today. And I thank you all for being here. We're going to learn some painting today. Who is MC? I don't know that person, Josh Martindale. I only know the madman. I don't know who that is. Oh, you're talking about the proxy I made. He's doing all right. The proxy's fine. You know how that works. Yes. I hope you guys are ready tonight. We're going to work on our second painting I'm going to teach you guys how to do. And I hope you guys have all your tools and things that you need. Your water, your paints, your insanity. You need that. I mean, you can't come to the Mad Show without having that. But yes, we're going to be doing some acrylic painting. I did put some stuff up in the Discord for you, for those of you that may not know. Check some of my social media. I'll probably post another post on Facebook. I'm in the hospital seeing my son. That's great. Fantastic. Congratulations on your son. Let's give him a round of applause. He just had a son. Fantastic. Glad to hear that. I hope everything's going well with you and your family. I hope that your child is doing well. And we hope the best for you. So, yes, I hope that you are enjoying yourself tonight. Hope you enjoy the festivities. I'm going to try to get this canvas open because I didn't expect them to all be covered in plastic. I thought that they were not. So, there goes my dilemma. So, you guys get to struggle and watch me go through the whole thing of how you take these out of plastic tonight. So, you guys are going to get the whole thing. Also, those of you that are watching, what does your sweater say? It's Tokyo Ghoul. It's a Tokyo Ghoul sweater. That's what it is. I have a fan going because I have some things drying that are behind me for commission, but that's neither here nor there. Tonight, though, we're going to take it easy. It's going to be like the other painting that we did. It's going to be a little bit more on the lighter side. We're going to do a scenery. We're going to do a little house. We're going to do a little background. But the way that we're going to do the house is going to be up here. And we're going to do a fall down type of perspective. It's going to taper. So we're going to go right here. We're going to have the house here. And then we're going to taper it off. And then we're going to have a little bit of a hill coming down. And then we're going to taper that off down here. So it's going to look like it's a layered painting going up. Right? So I want to show you guys how to do that. And the illusion. Today we're going to work on illusions. Right? Illusion is the biggest thing with painting and art. It's a way of tricking your eye to be able to see something that may or may not be there. You guys see that a lot with a lot of my art. As you can see back here, these two paintings I have there, sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. You might see a face, you might see something else. So it's kind of a way of being able to put something there for your mind to be able to fill into absent space. I always like to do that just to let someone see something a little different. So it's kind of like a little Easter egg. You get to see something different than what I might see or the next person. So you can do that in your art just depending on how light and shadow and all that kind of stuff. But don't worry, I'm not getting too far ahead. I got that all situated. My paints are a little bit on the dry side today. But that's okay. Still got the palette from last time. we're going to be working with, let's see, man. Josh was trying to test me a smile. Not crying. Oh, I got you. It happens. Let's go to the table. Let me show you what's going on over here. So this makes more sense to you guys what's happening over here. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Let me figure this out. Is this... Should be on. Good. Cool. So, we're going to open up our canvas. So the first thing you want to do, most canvases, when they come raw or not being used or anything like that, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. When you're using a raw canvas, let me scroll this down so we can see a little bit better. There you go. There we are. Well, there's the sharpness. So now we can see everything that's going on here. So when you're dealing with a raw canvas, the first thing you're going to do when you open it up is it's not going to have any gesso on it or anything like that, which I talked about before. I'm going to teach you guys tonight how to make your own gesso, right? So we're going to water down some white paint so we can put it as a small layer on the top, and then we're going to give it a few minutes to dry. We're not going to do a thick layer, but we're going to do just a small layer so you guys can kind of get the idea of it. First thing I want to do is get my X-Acto knife so I can cut this open. For those of you that don't use X-Acto knives, they're very sharp, and I want to recommend using them if you don't have supervision. So if you're younger and you think that, oh man, this guy's cool and I want to do what he's doing, use safety. Safety first, keeps you alive, keeps your fingers and toes on your body, right? You always got to be safe. If you're not safe, you're out here just being dumb. And we don't do that because that's no behavior, right? So first thing we're going to do, you always want to cut against the actual like canvas itself. You know, don't feel bad about that because the canvas is designed, is made to be able to handle that. I mean, you might have a little scrape here or there, but it's actually wrapped. With these, the reason why is you don't want paper backing, right? So you'll cut straight down through. The back of the canvas, as you can see, is usually just paper, and then it puts it on the front. They're all different. Some of them are a little bit different than others. So once we hear it, just like Bob Ross, yeah, everybody's been saying that. Everybody's been saying I have like this Bob Ross thing going on. I don't know. I hope. It's nice to know if I do have a Bob Ross thing. I used to watch him as a child, so hopefully that rubbed off. Now, if you guys have an extra cup, like what I mentioned to you guys before, having your styrofoam cups or paper cups or plastic, whichever that you chose to do, or if you even got yourself a little palette, if you don't have any of that and you have something small like a little container that you don't mind getting dirty or something glass, I recommend glass because glass works better than plastic. For whatever reason, this will adhere to it. It'll make a mess. Glass, you can kind of heat it up and it will get all that out. So what you want to do is you want to take a little something like this and get you some water. Basic water. Doesn't have to be spring water. Doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but just some water, right? And then you put some water in here like so. You know, fill it up, not all the way, right? Let me put this on here so you guys can kind of get an idea. You know, you want to fill it up maybe about here, right? So you want to have like a decent amount of water in there. So just like a little bit. Maybe I can't give it a... Here. You see, something about that, maybe a little bit less. Okay? So you want about that much water or less. In this case, I'm probably going to just pour some of it out just so we have an even layer. So once you get about that much, it should look like this. Now, from here, what we will do is we'll just take some basic white paint, right? Just normal old-fashioned white paint. Give it a good shake, right? Now, depending on this is almost similar to like a wash. So what you want to do first is just drop some paint in here. Doesn't have to be a whole lot, but you just want a couple of drops in here. 2 pretty good size globs of paint in here. As you can see over here, looks something like that. Ew, look at that, it's gross, right? Now, what do you do from here? Leave it on your canvas because if you make a splash or a mess, it's not really going to hurt anything. It's actually going to help you. So to make this, you want to get a decent sized brush, something a little bit bigger. You know, you can do it with a brush, or if you have one of these, which we haven't got to these tools yet, so don't worry. Mel, you're showing me something I don't have. Chill out. It's all right. We'll get to it. You want to get something that you can mix it together. So you want to give it a nice little mix. It may be a little sloppy. Using a brush can be a little bit better, but you want it to look something similar to this, you know. And yeah, I'm getting a little messy because some of you guys might be getting messy. So I do the same stuff. I'm a professional artist, but I also am a little messy sometimes because art is messy. All right. So once you do that, you might want to clean up your space. And that's why I told you guys get some paper towels. Well, man, I don't want to kill the environment. Well, you can get other alternatives. I don't know any. If you do, hey, that's great. Throw it in the chat. So once you get that mixed up, and you get it mixed up pretty well, you want to get a decent sized brush. Something like this if you got larger brushes, right? So once you get it mixed up, you get a nice little mix. It should look something like this on your brush, right? Should be really thin. Should be almost a tad bit on the soupy side, right? But you want that. Now, what we do from here is you just put that on your canvas. And you just layer it in. Now, using gesso is a lot thicker than this. This is highly diluted and watered down. But for what we're doing, you put this on and then it will fill in all those pockets. I call this the gesso on a budget, cheap man's gesso or gesso or however you want to say it. But ultimately, watering it down, putting this in there, and even if you can put a lid on it so that way it doesn't dry out, you can use this over and over again for all your paintings. Same thing applies to if you want to do this type of wash for black canvas. If you want to turn your canvas solid black and put this as well, you can dilute it with a little bit of water and you can do that too. It only works well with acrylic paint. I don't know anything about it working well with any other medium. Definitely not watercolor because watercolor is based off of water. That's how the pigment and everything gets distributed around and gets thin. But acrylic, you can do this without any issue whatsoever. Now, we've got a nice decent layer on there for us to start our picture, and you want to give it maybe about 2 minutes or so. So I want to set an alarm for 5 and give us a good 5 minutes. Once we get the 5 minutes down, this should be decent. Remember, the thinner, the better, the quicker it can dry. You want to try to get it distributed out so you have a nice smooth layer. Now, you can see streaks and things like that. You don't have to be perfect. You just want coverage. Right? You see, the more coverage you can get, the better it is, the more it's going to hold. And this is going to allow the paint to be able to not have those divoted spots like we had last week. So this is going to take care of that. If you're not able to do it and you don't have the resources to do it, or if you're doing it digitally, don't worry about this part. So, exactly. Hey. Yes, it's like a sealer. Yes, nostalgic. That's exactly it. So what it does is it fills in all the pockets in a canvas. Raw canvases have divots, right? Because how it's like a fabric that goes over it. So it's going to have, if you imagine a checkbox, like a checkbox, like a normal hashtag, but that hashtag has like a crevice in it, right? So that crevice is where the paint sets, but it doesn't hit the edges of that box, of that hashtag, right? So the paint divots in there, and when you paint over and you look at it, you'll see the inner part of the outside of the white, inner line of the pour inside the canvas. That's why you see little white dots on pictures that aren't fully colored all the way or didn't use gesso. You'll see that. So, yeah, it's like a sealant. It covers it so that way you can actually put paint on it, and you don't have to worry about it coming through like that. And you don't have to do 4 layers or 3 layers of the paint and make it real tacky, right? Because acrylic gets really tacky the more that you put on it without diluting it with water or using a different medium. And yes, it does look milky, Dimitri, because the fact that you're diluting white paint, because it comes out more thicker. So once you dilute it, yeah, it looks kind of like a milkier kind of substance. So once it's done, you'll have something that looks like this, right? It almost looks like liquid whiteout. So once you have that here, should be getting closer to almost being done. Really, when you notice that is dry, is when it doesn't have that shine to it. You see, it's kind of got that glossy look. But once that starts to disappear, like right here or here, you can also go by touch, right? If you touch it and it comes off like that, it's not going to work that well. Be it that it is white paint, it may take a little bit longer. Gesso itself is chemically designed to be able to dry like it's supposed to. This is just a workaround. But I want you guys to be familiar with this in case if you're not able to get it. I mean, the price of it can be expensive depending on how much you get, depending on what brand. All of that stuff, just like anything, like a car, like a house, like anything. There's always different things that you can get doing the same thing. Now, if you're not able to afford that and you want to do it this way, this will work. This can last you a while. You can figure out how thick or how loose that you want it to be just by playing with the water ratio. So that's how that works. But yeah, any other questions right now? Let's see. That repels the paint from absorb. Well, not necessarily. So how this works is that it covers. Imagine putting liquid paper on a canvas, right? That's what's going on here. This is like liquid paper, okay? Once you put it over here, the texture of it will feel different. When you touch a raw canvas, you'll know what it feels like. It feels rough, coarse. Excuse me scratching my nose. My allergies are tore up today because of the pollen and the season's about to change. So I'm stopped up. So disregard that. But nevertheless, what's going on here is that it's like a liquid paper, right? So you get to paint over it, but you're not worrying about all the divots. It literally will dry on top of it. You're still painting on a canvas. It's just that you have a thin layer that's allowing you to paint smoother. Also, another thing too, if you're interested in learning how to do calligraphy like this here, you need gesso on here because what will happen is it covers those divots that you see my pen get stuck in. Yeah, see? So it doesn't, a lot of times when you see me drawing and it starts snagging, or you'll see it like pop or paint gets thrown everywhere, is because there's a divot that didn't get covered on a canvas and then this gets stuck on it, causing issues. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, with painting cars and getting the blend ratio. Yeah, it works the same way. Different mediums, like for example, get this cleaning bowl. Also, get you a bowl, right? Get you something plastic. This is an old cooking bowl I had that had a crack in it. Yes, I got tape. I don't care. It's for cleaning my brushes. You need a brush bowl, okay? It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be cute. It doesn't have to be anything. Make sure it's something that you're not going to eat with, that you're not going to use to cook, or it's anything important, and that you don't mind getting stained, right? But you need that for you to be able to clean your utensils and your tools properly. I don't call brushes just brushes. I call them tools because that's your tools that you use to paint. So you're going to need something like this. So make sure that you find it. You can get it at the tree or the dollar store or whatever that you want to do, however you want to do it, or if you got an old bucket at home, that's fine. So this is right here. I mean, granted, is cheaper than most, but this is kind of like iridescent. You add this to the actual paint itself, and then it changes it. I got different types of like iridescent, matte, and I also have gloss. Now, adding these is kind of like the same type of clear coat. I've never put it on the canvas itself directly. You could play around with it and see what happens if you wanted to do that. But normally I take a little bit of either of these and put it with the acrylic paint, mix it together, gives it a more bolder, richer color, or it can make it more iridescent with some shine in it. That's what I do normally for the Terminator. That's what's giving it that metallic look. Now all I got to do is water that down and make it a wash, and then I can turn that into more rustic looking metal. Now, as you can see here, it's practically almost ready to go, right? There's barely anything there. So we can go on ahead and get our painting started here. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use some black paint and go on ahead and make our line, our perspective line. So that's where we're going to start. So that way we know where our perspective is at. If you guys want music, just tell me to throw some music on. I can. Or if you like hearing me talk, then I can keep talking. It's fine. Either way is fine with me. Whichever is fine with you guys. So today I'm going to get our brushes out. We're going to use smaller brushes for this picture, except for the one that we just applied with. So you're going to be looking at using one of these. Yet again, I haven't had time. In my real life, I've had things going on. Have kitchen that I'm working on. I got stuff going on, so yeah, I didn't have enough time to tell you what each brush is or what each brush can do. My apologies. Somebody else want to throw that into the chat, that would be great. You'll be doing me a favor. You know, you can say, "Oh, I did Mel a favor once." There, you can hold that title, right? I'll let you have that. So I digress. Let's go on ahead. First thing that we're going to do, get you some black paint on your brush. Don't matter how much don't want to get too soupy or anything, but get you a decent amount, right? So once you get yourself an amount, what we want to do from the last time we did that straight line across, today we're going to do a line that's going to go across and go down, right? So first thing we're going to do is just go across real lightly. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? You can just get the line on there. It should look something similar to that, right? I want to zoom in more so you guys can get a better, closer look, dead on. Hold on. Right there should be it. That should be good. Okay. Everybody can see that pretty good? Some light jazz music would be nice, I guess. I could do that for you if you want that. All right. I don't know if it's jazzy, but that should be decent. There. So, once we get this here, just have that there for our normal line across. Okay. And then once you get that, it should look something like this. Now, the next part, we're going to do all three parts coming down. But what I want you to do is the next thing I want you to do is from this corner right here is just bring another part down, right? So we're going to do that. We're going to just make this line here. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want it to just look somewhat like that, kind of like a hump, right? So you should have like a Z, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to make a Z. That's the best way to do this, is to make a Z, and the Z should look something similar to this, right? Okay, so once you get your Z looking like this is going to split the painting into three different sections. Okay, now we got foreground, midground, background, and then the highlight in the back area. Okay, so now we sectioned it off into three different zones. So what we're going to do here first is we're going to go on ahead like last time. If you have some green, go on ahead and get your green. I'm trying to turn my headset down because my headset's much louder than what you guys are hearing. So we're going to go on and get some green. So clean your brush off if you have a brush, or if you have something decent sized one like this, right? Ah, man, why is it so greeny looking? It shouldn't be like that. Hold on. There. Man, that was bothering me. So we got it here. It's going to look a little grainy. That's fine. So what we're going to do is just dab some of that green on here, right? And we're just going to give it a little green. We're going to, and see, it's okay if the black paint's there because that's going to give us a little bit of a fade. So just touch it a little bit, get right up next to the edge of the black paint, and just kind of just swoosh your brush back and forth until you bring it down. Should look something similar to this. If it doesn't, but it looks close, that's great. If it doesn't look like this exactly, it's okay, all right? And if you're doing it digitally, you shouldn't have any issue with it. It should just be the first layer that you have. It'll look similar to this, so you'll just color it green, right? And to get the layers like this, I'll show some painting. The next series I do on October will be digital. I'll do you guys a solid. Either I'll do some digital teaching with this as well, how to do painting with digital software using the tablet. So once you get that looks pretty good. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, there's those three black lines that ain't gonna make any sense, right? So it will once you get done. And you want to use the black paint up here. So just once you get it, just kind of manipulate it, brush it back and forth, grab as much of it as you can. And if it doesn't pick up, that's okay. You just want to make sure that you get as close to that line that you can, right? And once you do that, you should have something that looks similar to this. This shouldn't take us but an hour to get this basically finished. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I've got the green. Ah, fantastic. Thank you guys for showing up. There we go. So once we got the green, and we got all of that here. Get out of here, Nat. So yeah, once you get, see, now we have, now you see that illusion, right? Now it's starting to make a little bit of sense. And for those of you that have never done this before and this is your first time, or you're just looking at it and you're like, wow, I didn't know I could do this. We're all able to do it, right? Once you understand what's going on, it's not hard to figure out how to do it once you kind of got a general idea, right? So you just want to just kind of make it, you don't have to get it perfect, you just want it to make sense. I'm just trying to blend it so it makes it look darker as we're going back. If you have a little bit of brown, you can add a touch of brown to it as you're going back, and it will give you that look of like old deader grass, right? And you just kind of, and then you just add a little bit there, right? And then you just keep swooshing back and forth like so, you know, just brushing it, fan it back and forth, gives you that real almost like a ground look. Now what you're doing here, you're not doing much besides just thinning out the paint, because it should be able to just thinly just go on here, and it might feel like, oh man, I don't have no control over it. You want it to feel loose. You want it to feel loose on the brush, because that way you can manipulate it more. You don't want the paint being stiff and gloppy, right? You want it to be somewhat loose, somewhat easy to be malleable, like what we have here. So you should have something similar to this. If it doesn't look exactly, that's okay, but it should be something close, right? So we're going to leave it there. The next part we're going to do, if you have any blue, we're going to add a little blue with some white. Your palette should look like this: white, black, red, orange, yellow, green, and brown. For the most part, we're not going to be doing anything too crazy today. Just using what I have from last week, kind of. There we go. And then just mix that together. You should have a little bit of a light blue. So once you get your blue, you just want to just kind of dust the sky a little bit, right? Doesn't have to be too crazy, just enough, right? Just there you go. And you can always add a little bit more white paint to this, but don't go too crazy, just enough, right? So you can kind of fan it and kind of give it that lighter blue color, right? We don't want it to be like completely like dark blue, like a storm's coming through. We want to lighten it up a little bit. So every so often, just dab a little bit of paint there, and then you can kind of blend it together. It should allow you to do that without any issue. And then you just kind of fade it into itself, right? You just blend it in, and just nice steady strokes, blend it in, and you should have something similar to that, right? So we're going to give this a second and let it dry, because it's still somewhat wet. I need to turn that fan on. Let me fix that. It may be a tad bit loud because of the sound of the fan. Because the fan is moving a lot faster, because I'm trying to get it to dry quicker. Alright. There we go. And if you got a ceiling fan, that's great. Or if you have a fan of any type, that's great. So you can use it with this. So, this should be almost there. Yeah, we just need this part up here. As you can see, the rest of it is pretty well done, right? Hey, Sloth, welcome. Glad you were able to make it. Hope you're having a good day today. If you're able to follow along, this is what we've been doing so far. If any of you have any more questions or anything, please let me know. Definitely the chat's been great. All of my there. Stop moving. Man, everything just wants to try to move today. So, what we can do now, since it's a little bit drier, what we're going to do is we're going to come through here and I'm going to add a little water and see if I can thin this up. Yeah. Now, if you feel comfortable enough to do this, then follow along. If you don't, then we'll get to that soon. But what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit of water on the brush and I'm just slightly moving it across where the black paint was at, trying to blend that in to everything else. But if you're blending it, you want to keep it parallel or go down with it, like swoosh down from it, because if you try to go up, it's going to make everything look a lot worse, and you don't want it to do that. It won't blend right. You will see the difference. And once you do that, you can always go back and you want to get another form of green. My green is a little too soupy, so I'm going to go on ahead and add some more. Let's see, what do you have here? Oh, hey, sometimes you have to, you know. Sometimes taking a night off from streaming is always good, you know. Got to recharge the brain, you know. Sometimes being on all the time isn't good, but you know, it's a double-edged sword, you know. You have to take time for yourself too, as well as being able to make the things that you want to make and do. So, balance, right? And that's what this is showing. What I'm teaching you guys right here is the balance of brush strokes in comparison to how you can heavily do something. Like, for example, what I'm doing here, and what if you're following along, I'm using light brush strokes. Some of the paint may be a little bit thinner, and what I'm doing is I'm moving the paint, because the biggest thing, like I said last time, is painting is all of this manipulation of paint with a brush and moving it in a direction that you want it, and how much that you're fanning it, and what else to make it look the way it's looking. So right now it's looking like there's more going on here, and how we're going to make that illusion even more real is I'm going to change the way that the brush strokes are. See, I've been swooshing back and forth to give it like the motion of it. What is that you have? Is that water-based paint? No, Dimitri, it's acrylic. I focus mainly on acrylic. Acrylic is what I work on. I rarely do anything with oil, just because oil's a little bit more messier. Also, oils takes more time to work with, especially for drying. Because I want to be able to show this in a quicker time, I usually go with acrylic. Acrylic is a little bit easier to work with. I've kind of figured out how to work with it a little bit better. So that's what I like to work with. Not to say that I can't work with oil or that I haven't, you know, but that's what I like to show everybody is acrylic's very easy to use, right? So now the brush strokes are coming back towards me, because what's going on here is this is where the illusion is going to come. It's going to make it look like the hills are rolling into each other, but it's all because of how I changed the brush strokes. Instead of them being wild with no direction, now they're going in a certain direction, and if I can keep it this way, it's going to make it look that way. So it's also the illusion of motion too. You can, if you ever learn it, or if I ever show that, motion is also in the same way. So it should look something similar to this as we're going along, if you're following along, that is. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. And no, we're not going to talk about the sad state of the world and the stuff going on right now. It's all sad. We're here to have a good time. We're here to just... This is the safe place to decompress from all that, right? This is where we're at to not dwell on that. So we're going to just keep it light, and we're going to just keep learning, right? There we go. Hope everybody has a good week coming up. Try the best you can. Stay hydrated, drink more water. Yeah. That's something I do want to try coming up soon is airbrush. I've been watching that, and it's always been something I've been kind of like iffy about, but I think my confidence level is strong enough now that I could give airbrush a try. I've never really tried it, but that might be something I'll look into definitely in the future, because airbrush is amazing. Yeah, and the clear coats for that, it works off of basically acrylic as well. So acrylic paint is not that bad. It's I like it because if you're using anything that's acrylic based, it can pretty much work with it, right? Like I can use acrylic paint with acrylic calligraphy ink, and probably could use it with the same thing with the with using airbrush paint. You could probably use it the same way, be able to do that too, right? So acrylic is nice in that way that it can actually work with itself in different forms and different formats. So that's why I like using it. But yet again, to everybody likes different mediums. Some people might like watercolor more than others, you know? It just depends on what you like and what works for what you're trying to do. So we just give it nice little fanning brushes back and forth until we fill it in, right? There we are. If you guys are able to, on Tuesday and Thursday this coming up week, come back to the show. Definitely we'll be back on the Ninja Turtle painting. I had to clean my brushes, so that's why I was doing digital last week, but definitely come back. We'll be working on those. There we go. So you kind of can see it here, right? And then you'll just go over with a little bit of green here, right? And you'll do the same thing, just kind of just brush it, fan it back and forth. Get it up to the tree, right up there to the line. There we go, right? There we are. And then we can So it should look something similar to this by now, right? You should have something that looks almost like this, a little bit. Okay? Now, I'm going to give this a second to dry again, like before. And I'll let you guys, if you have any questions, we can do a couple Q&As here. If you have any questions or want to ask anything while this dries, it needs a minute. So I'm just going to sit here and let you guys type, and we'll pick up to the next part. See, the beautiful thing about painting is a process of patience. You want to grab a snack? Okay. Yeah, it's a test of patience. You know, when you're painting, you can't. It's one of those processes like you have to allow yourself to be calm with it. Like you have to allow it to do what it's going to do, right? It has to calm down. You have to let the paint lay where it's going to lay. You know, once you get done with that, then you can kind of manipulate it a little bit more, which is what we're going to do here. Up here is where we're going to start adding the house and adding some of the other stuff. I'm going to make a little pathway here, and it's going to be like a little trail. You'll see a little trail go off here, and then it'll come down this way, and then it'll branch off here, right? So it's going to be a little something. It's a little scenery, right? So we're going to have a little something there. Cool. Looks like it's almost there. And yes, I'm only going over with basically 1 or 2 layers of paint, so I'm not putting a whole lot there, so it's not overly soupy, right? Like you can see that's somewhat, but it's almost there. Yeah. Probably got another 2 minutes and then we're ready to go. Uh-oh. Sounds like the Discord's going off. Alright. Give it another moment. Now I'm going to use a brush today instead of using a calligraphy pen, because I know that's not fair. Trying to show something, I'm over here doing ultra high detail on stuff, right? So I'm going to use a brush to show how to do that properly, so that way it doesn't feel like, oh man, he's trying to show us but he's doing other shit and then I can't keep up. No, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to go on ahead and get that situated here. And I'm going to use a smaller brush, and the brush I want to use is one of these that's like a half cut, you know, one of those slanted brushes. We're going to use the tip to be able to do this, right? So we'll just dip the tip into the paint, right? And then from here, we'll just put our little house up here. So how we'll do this is just what you want to do is just make your little box. You don't want it to be too big, right? You don't want it to take up too much space, right? But we want it just solid black, little black box right there. You can just get it. Okay. And then once you have it there, just make it look as cube as possible. You know, if it's not perfect, that's okay. We will get that situated, but we want it just here, right? Should look something like that, okay? Now, once you got that there, and if you still have some black paint on your brush, all I want you to do is lightly just brush right here, just a little bit. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because that's where we're going to have the little trail. So we want that little bit of black line there just to give us some separation from the sky. Nothing more than that, so don't go too deep into it. You just want it faint. And it doesn't matter if it line connects or not, you just want it bold enough in certain places that you know where it's supposed to be, right? So do that all the way down, you know, just lightly, not much, you know, just barely. You don't even want to put a lot, just a little bit, right? Now I'm just dabbing it just to have an idea. There we go. Yeah, just like so. There. Okay, great. Now we got that part. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Good to see you that you came back. Appreciate that you came back. Yeah, it's part of the follow-along series. If you have the items or if you have a tablet or anything like that able to do it, we're just doing this on a little... fantastic. Great to see you, Skew. Good news as well. Thank you. And I'm happy for the good news that you shared earlier as well. So, once we got that here, if you have any brown left, this is where we'll put the roof of the house on here. And I know it might be like, oh, that looks like a child's painting or something. You know, don't do that. And the reason why I'm saying don't do that, don't scoff your work as it looking like, oh, it looks like this. Who in the world, you know, don't worry about what if it looks like anybody else's work or if it looks like anything. The fact that you're painting right now is it in itself, if you've never done it before, that means that you're doing something that you never thought you could do. So don't worry about that, because there's somebody else out there not doing what you're doing right now. So if it looks similar to this, cool. If it don't, fine. Don't worry. You're learning something new, right? So we got the house, the hood, the roof of the house there, the hood or whatever. And from here, right where that's at, we're going to put a little bit of brown as we go down here. If you want to lighten it up and you want it to look more like dirt, you can add a little bit of white paint with a little bit of brown, and then you'll get a lighter brown. It's going to look a little muddy, but that's okay, because you want this to look like it's been like a road that's been traveled a lot, right? So we're going to put this here, and that's kind of the dirt path, right? And then we edge it right up to the black line there, and that's going to be our edge of the road. So it should look something similar to this, right? So once you get it there, in this part, you don't have to keep it looking even. It can be a little ratty, it can be a little off-put, because it's dirt. It's supposed to look like it's been traveled on. So keep that in mind. Always keep in mind whenever you're doing any type of anything that you're doing art wise, you know, just use your common sense with it. If it seems like it, I always go by the principle, if it looks cool and I can explain it, I'm going to do it. If someone says, why do you have a jetpack on a horse? I thought it was cool, and if it had enough thrust, it could pick it up. And that's how you got to do. If it makes sense to you and you can explain it to someone, then fine. If you can't, then I do the other thing that I always do. I thought it looked cool, so I did it. You know, whatever, right? Enjoy art. Don't let it over consume you. You're supposed to have fun with it. It isn't supposed to like make you feel any kind of way besides happy when you do it. Someone else says, oh, you're supposed to feel something else. They don't understand. They may not even be a real artist. You should feel some form of happiness while you're doing it. If you can't be happy in doing art, which is basically creating, there might be something wrong. You might need to check that out. Or look within and figure out what am I missing? Where did I go wrong? But I digress. I always like to tell anyone that wants to learn how to do art, allow yourself to just be free. Rule of cool? Thanks. Yeah, just allow yourself to be free with what you're doing. Art's supposed to be free. Be free with it. Don't think, just do. And if it don't make any sense to other people, someone will figure it out. I had a painting that I sold not too long ago, and I had it for so long. I had it for a few years. Nobody could ever understand it. They all looked at it, they couldn't understand it, and then, you know, I had someone look at it and they understood exactly what I was conveying in the painting. They understood the real depth. I didn't have to change it. I didn't have to change what I was trying to do or lessen what I was trying to do for someone to understand. They just got it. Now, what I'm doing here is I like to add the green because it gives it that real look, right? I like to go for that authentic beaten down in the grass look. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, I recommend don't trying it. It's just if you feel comfortable doing this, you can kind of go back through and kind of just mold it to make it look more like a pathway, more beaten down. You can add more black to it, more brown, however you want to make this part here. Personalize your road to your house and personalize your own house. You don't have to do it verbatim how I'm doing it, but I'm doing it that way so that way when we start adding other things, it starts to make more sense, right? So that's why I'm doing that way. Let's see here. So now we can change brushes because now we need to do a little bit more here, and I want to add some green. Yeah, there we go. Now I got it myself a nice little decent brown, so I'm going to dab this. And if you want to make it this way, the only thing that you would have to do is just come back through, dab it, right? I would recommend, if you have, like, depending on what type of setup that you have, you can kind of make a little bit different hue there for that. If you have yellow with brown, you can kind of change well, it makes it a little bit darker, and then you can add some white to that, and it kind of evens that out. So you can play around with it to get a lighter dirt if you so want to. I try to, just because the fact that I like it to look like, you know, I can kind of take away from the black there and then give it that more dirt, you know. For those of you that have played Red Dead Redemption, you know, kind of like that old dusty trail look. That's what I'm trying to give it here, just that old dirt look. Now to get this here, what you would do is mix yellow, white, and brown together, mix it together, and you get that off brown, like that chocolate brown look, kind of like dirt. So how you would do this is you would basically just mix this in with it and just dab it down. You'll always come back here. You'll use the thicker part as like your palette, and you just want to just transfer that down to kind of make it look like it's been rode on, wore down, you know, anything like that. We'll put a horse or something there to make sense in a bit. Right. There we go. See? There we are. Man, dust sucks. I hate it. I can't stand it. Good grief. Hold on. Sorry. Jeez. Where's that sanitizer? Always keep your hands clean. Remember that. Always keep your hands clean. There. Now, since we got this is what it looks like. Should look something like this. Okay? And if it does, great. If it doesn't, hey, we'll get there. We're almost there. Right? Takes time. So, if you have another small brush from here, you'll just take a little small brush. It can be something like this. What we're going to do here, since we already got this, we need this to kind of just dry, right? So, I'll leave that alone, let that dry. And we're going to go back and for the house and this whole area up here, I'm going to add a little bit of white paint. Kind of like right here. And we're just going to blend that in. There. So you should get some cloudage, right? We just want to just take a little bit and just dab it around, just kind of just swirl it around like a cloud, you know, kind of just get it to dissipate, right? And it doesn't matter if it makes an actual cloud shape, you just don't want it to just be stagnant, right? Just dab it up, brush it around, and if you thin it up some, it's easier to work with sometimes, but you just want to just give it a little something, right? There we go. And then you can kind of dab it and push it around, you know, make it feel like it's something more than what it is. Like that. You see? pretty cool. I like that so far. It looks pretty nice. I'm adding a little bit of white here, just so when we blend it together, and give it that. Just want to dust it. You don't want to add a whole lot, but you just want to dust it a little bit. And the reason why I'm dusting it just a little bit is to kind of give it that look of something's been through here, rode by. Yet again, if you feel confident, what I just did there, just add a little dab of white paint and then add the brown. If you feel confident enough, go on ahead and do that. If you don't, make it a little bit on your palette if you have it, or your plate, whichever that you're using, you know, and just add a little bit here. And then that way you can bring the boldness of the roof back up. And also you'll get a nice little shade effect too, right there as well, once that cools down. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully maybe next time we might catch you. You might be able to catch me a little bit earlier, or maybe I might be able to do something a little bit later. I forgot what time zone. I really forget whatever time zone everybody's in, because, you know, all the mad ones are all over the world, right? So it's hard to keep up. But thank you for being here. I'm glad that you had a good time, and I hope that you enjoy it. When I get done with this, I'll take some pictures and put it in the Discord and put it up on the social media platform so you guys can see it that way. That would be great. So right now we're just waiting. Gotta wait a little bit, so this is going to take a minute. So chat's open again, and look, this is how far we got to 9 o'clock. Actually, I was even late. I was late getting here, right? But yeah, that's what we're looking at. Let me get this another angle. That's pretty so far. And for those of you that were following along, congratulations. Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully you'll be here next, during the week, maybe. Be able to see what's going on here with the Ninja Turtle paintings. I don't really want to mess with those, because that right there, these two here. Actually, I need to move those, because this is part of another painting. These are part of another one. So those will be something else. But hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad that I was able to give some peace tonight. I know it's hard to be able to find that sometimes, right? You know, it's very difficult to find peace, because everything is chaotic, and you know, there's only so much the human brain can handle of traumatic stuff, be it speech, things you see. You know, it's good to be able to find a place that isn't always on like that, right? Yeah, I feel that myself, so I like to share that. If I don't do anything else, you know, come for the art, hang out to have peace, right? You know, because that's what I like to do. I like to have a little bit of peace, you know, or share it. I don't know what to do with that without using a calligraphy pen. I've been so caught up with that. I'll tell you what. Oh man, I will have to teach you guys how to use this calligraphy pen, because this is actually part of one of the main fundamentals of what I do. Since I started using this for finer detail work, I really recommend using a calligraphy pen for detail work on paintings. If you can believe in yourself enough to use it. Right? It's an intimidating tool because of the way that it's designed, but it's easy to master if you understand how to control your own muscles in your hands. It's not meant for heavy-handed people. It's hard. I'm heavy-handed. I taught myself how to do it. I probably could even be an apprentice now as a tattooer because my hand pressure is much better now. So what I'm going to show you here also, another trick of the trade, if you really don't have, I don't recommend doing this all the time, but if you don't have any actual like calligraphy ink, but you have diluted like what we did for the wash, you can use that for the pen as well. It's not as thick and it doesn't hold as well, but it does work. As you can see here, it's very soupy, right? You can use it for certain things. You can use it for a little bit of stuff. Now, what I'm about to do here, I'm going to basically give a little bit of detail. But that line there, I want you guys to see this. If you have a small line, or if you try to follow what I was doing, you can actually brush this, and it will give it a little bit of some detail, like it has shingles or something on it, right? There we go. See, gives it just a little bit, right? Not too much. Now this light's a little bit brighter than what I was expecting it to be. So it's got a lot more shine on it than what I needed. So we're gonna turn that off. But we can crank this one up. There we go. Well, this one might need a little bit more. There, okay. So now you can kind of see it since the light's a little bit duller, right? So now, since we're here, I want to go on ahead and actually just use real ink. Like, you can try to use the lighter stuff, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see here. From here, let me see. Let's go on there. I'm going to try to keep with the brushes. I'm really going to try to keep with the brushes. It's a bad habit. I want us to put some trees here, right? So we're going to make some trees. If you have a brush similar to this one, we're going to try to make a couple of trees with this, right? So how this works, when you get ready to use this, you just swoosh it back and forth real quick like. And that's basically the basis for practically almost every tree. I learned this from Bob Ross. He showed how his little happy trees come from this same type of thing. Now when it comes down here, we're gonna need the darker green. So I don't have the darker green right now, so I want to show you how to make it. You're going to take a little bit of black and add it to green, and that should give us the darker green. Now, it may look a little weird. That's fine if it looks a little strange, because you don't want to add a lot of black. You just want a small amount, right? You don't want to add too much. You just want it to get kind of a darker green, and that's where it's going to get a little bit harder, because, you know, you start adding green to the black, and then you start getting like this darker kind of mess, right? And that's okay. And what you would like to do with that is, you know, if you're going to get this, then I would say just go through and do every tree the same color. You know, swoosh it back, dab it. You know, you just want to try to give it some shape, right? There we go, right? And then you just do this. You just kind of swoosh it around, you know, and then they'll give you, you always want to brush it, right? Like you, there, like you're fanning it around, and then you get your trees. Hey, Dimitri, welcome back. So then you get your trees, and then you just basically, you can do it the same way. You can either swoosh it. Most of the time, swooshing it in that way is for like big pine trees, right? Like you would draw it, like you would paint it down like this, like one big line there, and then you would just, you see what I mean? And it looks like an old pine, right? There you go. Trees. We got trees. Look at that greenery. Look at that. Looks pretty nice, I have to say. And then here, if you really want to get real cool with the perspective, you can always do this. Right? Add a little green, a little darker green, the lighter green, and then you just wave it back and forth like this. There we go, right? Then you come back in there with a hint of brown. And get the brown going down, like so. And there we are. There you go, right? Just like that. There you go. Now you got some trees. Now all that we have to do is go back through this and clean this up, right? Makes sense, huh? And you might be thinking, oh man, what about that one tree right there? That makes no sense. Well, here's the beautiful part about this. You can come back with a different brush, and then you can just kind of just make it make sense, right? You can just make it make sense. You can add the depth to it if you want, you know, like, oh, there it is in the ground, and break the ground up, and there you go, and then you can add a little bit there. Now you got yourself an actual base, right? So that's kind of the idea, you know, each brush is going to do a little something different, so you just come through and just have some fun. You know, look at pictures, bam, look at that, that's beautiful. And if you guys are doing this too, congratulations, you just drew yourself a scenery. Foreground, midground, background, highlight, skylight, you know? Congratulations, you did something new. Again, the second time. Now you can't say that you can't paint, because you just did, twice, right? If you've been following along. Or if you did it digitally, you just did a digital painting. Congratulations, you learned a new skill. You leveled up. But you did not get any new gear. I wish I had gear to give you guys, but I don't, so one day. Cool. And then you add that, and then we can add this. Bam. I know you might be thinking, man, all these trees look real opaque and real blah, blah, blah. That's the beauty of coming back with the brush and dabbing it up, right? You come back in here, and then you just fill it in with the other brush, and then you make it make sense. The Mad Mel way of art. Make it make sense. That's all you got to do. Make it make sense. Once the brain can figure it out, it's not a problem. When you start doing things with your art that makes the brain start to question, people start to not understand what's happening. But if you can make it make sense, everything's possible in art. Beautiful. I thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for coming. I hope you guys were able to learn something new today. Hopefully I was able to teach well. Still something new I'm trying to learn to do is teach people. I don't, it's a new process, a new journey I'm trying to take. I like to give back to everyone, give a little something. Now, how's that look? You guys like that so far? They're looking pretty good. Someone might say, oh, well, that's too much green, Mel. There's just too much green. There's just too much. I can see that. You need a little bit more. Is that what you're looking for? You're looking for a little fall festivity. You need some more yellows and browns and some more orange. I mean, if that's the case, I can oblige you with that, add a little hint of orange into this. Since we're getting closer to fall, you want to change the color of the leaves and add just a hint, right? Just a hint of red. Nothing too serious. All right, there you go. All right. Red Heart, thank you. Make sense of the nonsense? Exactly. Yeah, just gotta make sense. So tonight we should have something that looks similar to this right here. If you do, and it looks like this, fantastic. If you don't, and it doesn't look like this, still fantastic. Even if it looks similar to this, or even if it looks somewhat close. The reason why I say that is because you just learned how to do something different. You just made yourself a whole painting. And that's awesome. That's something new, and that's something that you should be proud of. And congratulations, and I'm proud of you guys as well. So, hey, how you doing? Taylor Taze. Taylor Taze is in the house. Hello, Taylor. Thank you. Mad Mel is the best. Appreciate that. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. Keep in mind, tomorrow I will have this in the playlist as well as the first video. So I'm going to show you both the pictures that you guys have done now. So you can't say you've never done art, right? Wherever the other one is at. Hold on. Hang on. I got it somewhere because I moved it because I had something in the way. Hold on. Our other painting was, or is, here it is. I believe that is right here. So, this is what you should have now from last Sunday to today should look like this. This is what you should have so far. You should have these two paintings that you guys have done. If you were following along. Now, if you weren't following along, that's fine. That's okay. I have a list of stuff that you guys can get. I know I think I've paid words are hard. I think I posted it up on Facebook, I believe. So you may be able to find those items there. You can get them pretty much anywhere. The Mart of Walls and either one of the Dollar Trees or stores, you can get your items there too. Real simple items. Shouldn't cost you more than $30. That's the reason why I wanted it to be a little bit cheaper. I'm trying to show you guys different perspectives of things. This is an up-close shot. This is more of a farther perspective. As you can see here, focal point here, but it's coming down, and it's an illusion. You saw how we built the illusion now. Now you can see it when you go to a museum or anywhere, right? So now you'll be able to see it. Anything that you ever look at now, you'll be able to see kind of the process of how it was done. Oh, I see now that they did this, like we did last time. We did the skylight first, and then we did this. Like today, we did this, and it was just a Z, and a little house up here with a Z, and then we turned it into this, where you get a higher shot down a hill. So you guys are learning more and more naturally. So this is cool. Anyways, let's go on ahead. I'm going to go back to the main screen. We got 10 minutes. I'll let you guys chat there. We can chat for a minute. And share the madness, or you guys can ask whatever you want to, or we can crack jokes. So we're back. Yay! I'm gonna turn this off now so it's not beaming in my head. So yeah, we had a great show tonight. If you like the content I create, or if you're mad enough and you want more insanity, hit that subscribe button and join. It doesn't cost you anything, and you know, only thing that costs you is a little bit of your time and your sanity, which, if you're watching me, means that you're already crazy. So that doesn't that doesn't even matter. Ha! Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, chat's open. You guys got a few minutes. You can ask a question, ask Mel something. Hey, you had a great time. I don't like your haircut. What's that? Whatever you want. It's up. You guys got a few minutes, so I'll let you put whatever you want. I'll just watch the chat for a second as I let this dry. Yeah, that was really cool. That was a fun time. Let's see. What else is there? What else was I wanting to say? Oh. I will be working on the Ninja Turtles, actually, not Shredder. I'm not going to be doing this one. I'll be doing that one tomorrow, Tuesday. I'll be working on that one Tuesday. The idea that I'm going to try to do with that is finish the left side, or the right, my left, your right, or whichever, but I want to try to finish. Let me see if I can get this. That one. There. Yeah, that right there. See, I'm trying to do this off the camera, right? So I'm going to try to finish that, try to color that. I got the color palette that I want to use because I'm going to make it look exactly like stage number 4 from Ninja Turtles. So it's going to look good. How many more turtle paintings to go? I got these two, and I got one more. The last one is going to have, that one's going to be, I think I want to put that one as Splinter, Casey Jones, April O'Neil, and then I also might put, I might even put like Baxter Stockman, and I already did Bebop and Rocksteady. I might do Baxter Stockman and something else. I know in this little spot underneath, in between Krang and Bebop, I'm putting the two rock soldiers from Dimension X. That were his henchmen. I'm going to put those bums right here because Cowabunga is going to take up this spot here, so I can't do that. Yeah, one more. So technically, it's going to be a three-part painting. Both of these two are being sold as one. They're one painting. But on the cool part for you guys, everything that I'm doing from this part on, I'm doing digital work. So there's some items that I'm going to have on the Etsy store. I want to give you a preview. I took everything down off the Etsy store because I had some shipping things I wanted to try to fix. There were some other things I wanted to try to do. And what I want to do here right now is I'm going to just take a quick little snip of what the items. Man, yawn was trying to really take me down. I want to show you what one of the items are. I will be doing more of digital work, both canvas and also framed canvases. So just for an idea, of what I'm talking about, it will look something like this, for example. I'm just going to take a little snippet of it so you guys can see. So, yep, there's that. And this one is, let's see, this one's kind of a larger one. But I did make them, the beginning of the show, into art pieces for everyone to be able to see. So, let's see, I'll just save as capture. That works. Whatever. Fine. So, let me see here if I can get my image up. No, I don't want no slideshow image. Oh, hey Linda, how you doing? Fantastic. You called me right at near the end. But that's cool though. Thank you for showing up. I'll show you the paintings that we did today. This is the one that we did last week. I'm teaching everyone on Sunday how to paint for this month of September. So if you got the items to do it, I've made a list of them, but all your items you can either get at Walmart, Dollar Store, Dollar Tree for under $30. This is the first painting I showed everyone how to be able to do. We all did this together, and this is the first one. Today what we did is we did this one today. I showed everybody from start to finish how we did this one. Made this one from beginning to end, and we did this within an hour. So hopefully next Sunday you might be able to meet and be here and maybe be able to do it as well. So we're going to do something different next week. We're going to actually draw a person. We're going to paint someone, and we're going to just do a chair and a person sitting in a chair. Is going to be different. I want to show you guys how to actually manipulate a color to turn into something else. But right now I'm just showing some of the paintings and stuff that I have that I wanted to add to the store. I'm trying to get this other, where is it? Why can't I put an image here? I don't want that there. Why won't you show me the image? Hold on. I might be able to fix this. Nope. That ain't it. Wow. Hold on. Nope. 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 Can I add it here? I don't know where I can add it. Anyways, here, I can just share my screen with you guys. I'll just show you the store, what I have so far, and it doesn't really matter because I don't really care. Here, we can go over here. This should pull this up. Nope, it didn't pull it up, but I can bring this down so you guys can see it. Doo-doo. Maybe, I don't know. Nope, is it over here? Yeah, it's right there. I think. Nope. Hold on. Technology gets on my damn nerves sometimes. Sometimes it gets on my nerves. Here's the screen. This is what I wanted to show you guys. As you can see here, these are all in canvases wrapped in a frame. They come in different sizes. Got different things. All the itinerary here, they're all different sizes, different shapes. They'll cost different stuff. Like for Halloween, I got this. Still got to price them. This is a wrapped canvas, right? So you can get something like this. It's all the better pictures that I've done. This will be in a canvas as well. There are some that are going to be in frames, like if you wanted to get this one, the Mega Man one, for example. If you wanted to get this, come in different sizes. You want an 18 by 24, I'll have that too. It'll look like that, black and white. Have the insignia. It'll be in a frame. It'll look like this from the side, right? So, you know, you guys kind of get an idea of what you're looking at here. And this will be coming up soon. So you'll have options of either getting it in a frame or getting it just a wrapped canvas, right? So any of that could be a possibility. So yeah, that's the idea here. Oh man, all this mess, whatever. I gotta switch it back, but I'll fix my screen later. Anyway, then I'm going to mute this because we already dealt with that. So that's the idea. That's what I want to show you guys, that, I'm getting things ready for the store so you guys can purchase some new items and purchase some wall art. And also, like I said, I've been taking pictures of all of these. I'm redigitally doing the Terminator painting, as I know that is something that a lot of people want. So I'm doing a digital remaster of that. It's literally the exact same thing. I'm just digitally touching it up and adding the effects that I can't really... I could do it with the painting, but it would take me another almost 6 months to do the effects that I can do digitally. So I'm going to do that and then have that for you guys to be able to purchase if you so desire to. Or if you want to try to bid for that, you can. But that's also for all the rest of the art too. So that way there's an option there. So I figured I would tell you guys that. So if you are looking for piece of art to put in your house or your office or something like that, but you may not be able to get the actual physical real deal, you can get a copy. So figure that would be something I like to share with you guys and that I'm working on. And as for coffee mugs and things like that, well, I will get to that sooner than later maybe. So they may be back. It's just, tariffs and all that kind of mess kind of put a wrench in it, but we're doing something different. And plus I want to stick more to wall art anyways, because who wouldn't want some of my art on the wall? Like, I mean, why wouldn't you want that? Like, you wouldn't want something cool on there? Like anything that I do. So, it'll be great. And it'll be a whole lot of different stuff. I'm probably going to run everything probably for between 3 to 4 months. And then I'll switch it out for something different. And there will be some stuff that I'll put up there that will be only one of a kind that I'm only going to sell for a short amount of time. So there'll be some things there, some stuff. So I'm just trying to work it out. And I'm also trying to work out so that way more of the lewd stuff isn't easily seen, right? Because I got other things that you guys like. All one. Let's see. Oh, you're going to do checkouts? Oh, chat checkouts on Steam avatars. Oh, interesting. I will talk to you about that. That would be cool to do. Anything right now. It would be awesome to do. Plus, also, I want to try to get this up, too, before the holidays. What better gift to give somebody than art? And what better to give them than to give them psychologically confusing art that might either spark their interest into it or drive them faster into insanity. Either or, you're giving them a gift of something that will last for a long time. Psychological trauma or inspiration. Both work. Sometimes you'll end up like me, being psychologically, artistically genius, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I just call it madness. So, motivational word of the day, since we're almost out of here. It's that time. What is the motivational word for today? Let me think. Something motivational for this week. Oh, I got it. The one thing that I can say that we can all do, and that can be a motivation to everybody, is remember this. We're all human beings. We all live on this planet together. We all have different points of view. Some of us have been led astray by ideologies, groups of people, things that they don't fully understand, echo chambers and all of this. But at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We're all same species. We forget that we are part of the human species. We forget that we are part of the same collective of people. There may be differences in skin. There may be differences in how we look. There may be things that we don't fully understand. But as of right now, we're all part of the same planet. And we're flawed. And that's okay. Because to be human is to be flawed. But we're supposed to have some humility to each other. So don't forget that you're a human being just like other people. Right? And it's not about what, that person did something wrong to me. Our purpose in life, my opinion, is that we're supposed to show people either good or bad. I come into your life and I show you something good, I was a good influence to you. You show me something bad, you're a bad influence. Our influences on other people is what makes the experience of life what it is. Okay, so if you can't do anything besides just be a good influence in the fact that maybe you just be kind to someone, maybe that's the best influence you could be. You know, it doesn't take much to just be somewhat kind. You know, that's the only thing that I'm saying. You don't have to bend over backwards, and you know, and there's a difference between the kindness too. Kindness can also, some people may try to use it as a weakness, but always remember, you're not the evil person or the person who's confused or the person who's got the problem or whoever it is. Whoever that you're encountering that has the issue, you're not their problem. Everybody always spews out what's outward to people. Hurt people. So just be kind to people and stop hurting people. But what do I know? I'm just an artist. Shit, I don't know nothing. Anyways, I'm out of here. I want to go probably stare at the wall or go wake up all the orderlies and patients in here by turning on some loud techno and banging a bunch of pots and pans and, you know, I don't know, turn the sprinklers on and everybody gets electrocuted. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just go eat something. Anyways, I'll see you Tuesday, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, share, like button, all that fun jazz. Yeah, it's encouraging with kindness. Yeah, just be kind to people. Just be nice. You can't argue with an asshole that if you're being nice to them. They need that energy. So don't allow yourself to just get caught up in that. There's too many of these people running around. They don't even understand. Everybody's scared right now. So best way to do it is just be kind. I mean, it can't hurt. And you don't have to talk to people who are asshats. You know, there's only two ways of conversation. Is either you learn and you can speak with words, or you're an idiot and you have to be talked to physically. And what I mean by that is sometimes you got to put hands on people and shake them around for them to understand, because they don't know how to talk to people. They grew up being manhandled and beaten, or probably shook around or slapped around. So those people are unable to talk to people. They're not capable. They have to be reprogrammed and taught. They don't know how to communicate right. So you can't really blame them for the way that they were programmed and trained, right? So you got to be a little bit more tolerant for those people, but you don't have to be tolerant to the point that they have to wipe their ass on you. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. That's all I'm saying on that. Not trying to condescend what I said, but you know, it's just the kindness there. You got to start with it. And if they're going to be mean, you don't have to be there. And if they want to be nasty and stuff, and you've had it, then, you know, that's a whole different situation. Hopefully you don't have to get to that, and hopefully this week is good for everybody, and you don't have to deal with that kind of shit. So, anyways, I'm out of here. Stay mad. Embrace the madness. I'll see you next time. Bye.